What's going on, everybody? Today we are making some calls to some agents live, and I'm here with my friends Nathan Valle and Benson Juarez. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's going on?
Okay, and for all of those that don't know me, I'm holding my baby because I'm watching her today. Our babysitter fell through, but you got to make pivots in this business, right, guys? You got to make pivots. And so for those of you who don't know me, my name's Nathan Payne. I've been in the business for about 6 years now, doing deals. I really enjoy it, and I love teaching people how to do it because I know that, the more people I teach, the more deals we can all do together. So that's me, Nathan Payne. Nathan Valle, tell us who you are.
Yeah, my name's Nathan Valle. What have I done? I've done a bunch of deals, bunch of different states. Known for getting over 100 contracts in a single year. Also, the 30-day challenge I did using yours truly, Privy, to where I picked a brand new market. No resources, no contacts, nothing. And my goal was to do a deal in 30 days, and I did a $20,000 deal in 30 days without spending any money on marketing. Pretty cool. And I only worked like 2 to 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday. That's who I am.
It works. Benson, who are you? Who the heck is Benson Juarez?
Awesome. Yeah, Benson Juarez, 20-year industry veteran, been around for a long time, done all kinds of different strategies, buy and hold, fix and flip, crashed and burned a bunch of deals, wholesaling. Man, I've been around. I've seen the ups and downs of the market. I was, actually doing business during the downturn in 7 and 8 and got my ass handed to me and, came back strong. And so now we've been doing Privy for over 10 years and, we're nationwide and we're just adding more features, more functionality. And I'm just here with the Nathans today to learn some stuff. And I'm going to watch, I guess Valle is going to make some calls, right? You're going to get on the phone and call some agents.
Yeah, it. My favorite. We're gonna
love it, man.
Ruin some people's days. It's gonna be great.
So that's it. So guys, that's who we are. And the plan today is we're going to make some calls that they just said to some agents so you guys can see how the conversation goes. We're going to be using Privy. Nate's going to share his screen. And the promise, as always, is we're going to make some calls so you guys can see what it looks like. So you can see if we really know what we're talking about. And if we ever don't make calls, it's just because we're giving too much value and people are just asking too many questions and we got to go. But that we promise that we're going to make some calls right now. Let's go do it. Nate Valle, you got it. Take over, brother.
Yeah. So of course, I'm not logged into my email that I get all the privy deals sent to. So while I'm logging into that, Benson, did you have any deals that we could call on? It's okay if you don't.
We don't have anything we can call on though, but it's interesting. So this is all about making calls, right? So you're saying that wholesaling is mostly making calls. Is that what you guys are saying?
I'm saying wholesaling or fix and flipping, whatever. It's looking for opportunities, qualifying opportunities. It starts with that and making calls. Yes,
it does. That's the lead gen, right? And so Valle, you set up Privy to send you some leads, right? Using the automation. So that's the cool thing about it is like, Payne's got a baby in his hands and you're running around doing everything you got to do, but you still have a lead showing up, things you can work on, people you can call.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you made that point because I was going to mention that yes, you have to make calls to successfully wholesale, in my opinion. But there's a lot of tools that can help with that, right? It doesn't, when we say make calls, doesn't mean you need to make 1 million phone calls. I used to do that. That's how I got started. I got started with cold calling. I didn't enjoy cold calling. There was a lot I didn't know, a lot I learned. Guys, when I did my 30-day challenge, and the only tool I used was Privy, I went live every morning, Monday through Friday, for about 2 to 3 hours each morning. And that was the only time I worked on my challenge. I would probably have like 1 to 2 conversations each morning. That was it. I wasn't making 100 phone calls. I'd maybe make like 5 and talk to 1 or 2 people. And guys, not only did I do a $20,000 deal from that, but and guys, again, let me stress, I only worked on the challenge when the camera was on, which was 2 to 3 hours each morning. And then the craziest part also is I'm a big believer, like, yeah, doing a $20,000 deal is cool, but I also like anybody can get lucky one time. Anybody can be lucky. The thing though was the results were just, it was insane. Like even if that deal fell through, I had so many other hot deals in the pipeline. And I kind of kick myself now. I should have just continued following up with the stuff I had on the table. Because I had a total of two, could have had 3 contracts, and I could have at least had another 2 deals if I did nothing extra than just follow up with the hot opportunities I created. And that's what helped me do. And like, yeah, one of the big things was the reason why I didn't have to make 100 phone calls every day was because Privy has a dope feature to where you can, there's a bunch of cool stuff you can do with it. More in simple terms, Privy filtered the MLS for me. So I don't have to look through 2, 3, 4, 500 listings. Privy's going to say, hey, here's the 5 listings that meet the exact criteria that you're looking for. And then each morning, that's how I would start my day. I'd like get up, I'd have my cup of coffee, and I would look, which one of these 5 properties do I want to call on today? That's way easier than starting with a list of hundreds, right? And trying to call all of them.
Oh, it's super efficient, right? Because most people who are doing this don't have the luxury of doing it all day because they've got a 9 to 5, they've got babies to take care of, they've got life, right? Life is happening. And so we get distracted by that. And then when we do get distracted, guess what we lose? Consistency. And the consistency is one of the keys to success in this, where you're taking those leads that you started calling a month ago and you're still calling them from time to time to make sure that those things are being nurtured. And you got to be consistent to get the results.
Yeah, that's a huge piece of it, because there's a lot of people to where, man, and I feel so bad because I used to make the same mistake in the beginning, to where you're putting in so much initial work and you're like, oh, why isn't this working? Why aren't I seeing any results? Excuse me. And it's because you're in the beginning, there's so much inertia, there's so much friction, it takes so much effort to get that initial momentum. And so many people, right as they're about to start getting momentum, they stop. And so all of that hard work to create that momentum, to where things get easier and things just start flowing your way, people, they stop short, right? And they don't do the follow-up. They don't do, so could not agree with that more. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're in. Skip all that. All right, let me go to my Gmail.
All right.
Okay.
So we're getting ready to do some lead gen. What do you do when you get a deal? Do you got people ready waiting for those things in the back end for the disposition?
Yeah, great question. So it depends. We do both. So we're really big believers on don't get anything under contract that you don't already have sold. Now, there's a few different ways you can go about it. There's some ways to where you can go find buyers and talk to them first. Or what I personally like to do is I like to kind of get 2 birds with one stone. I like to do them at the same time. So I like to find an opportunity and find a buyer for it at the same time, so that when I'm reaching out to that buyer, I've got an opportunity to talk about, I've got something of value that I'm bringing to the table. But at the same time, I'm not getting it under contract until I've got the buyer lined up. Okay, so let me share my screen here. Present, share screen.
I just want to say for everyone that's watching that, they're like, what? You're not doing deals unless you get them under contract? Guys, if it's a no-brainer, obviously you lock it up. But most deals these days aren't just no-brainers. That person.
That's what she's saying. She's like, yeah, you tell him, Dad.
Yeah, but anyway, most deals aren't just no-brainers, right? So I don't like just saying someone, yeah, I can pay this when you're like, you're not sure, and they're gonna put their whole life on hold for you to do what you say. And then if you don't find a buyer, so we navigate a little bit differently. If it's a no brainer, lock it up. You can buy it if you don't find someone. If you don't know if it's a deal, don't waste everybody's time. You know, there's better ways to do it. And that's kind of what we do.
So I've got some great questions for you, Benson. I've been meaning to ask you this. Now this is probably an update. I don't know if I remember there used to be pictures in the email of the property. Is that like a personal setting, or is that
No, that's just one of the things the team did recently to change things up. I'm not 100% sure why there's not pictures there anymore. But I'll certainly ask.
If you could put a word in for your man, that would be amazing. Because one of the things I used to love to do is so if right, and guys, look at this email real quick. I just want to explain this, right? So here you've got the dates. These all say Privy. So what I did was when I signed up for Privy, the market that I was working in, when I originally signed up, where I did my 30-day challenge, was Orlando. So Privy, you can set up filters to say, hey, you can set up filters with Zillow. You can set up filters with like Redfin or Realtor.com. But the key difference is none of them let you filter like an investor. So Privy, what I mean by that is Privy allows you to filter, hey, only send me properties that are at, that their current price point is at 70% of ARV. And then there's all the other filters too, but there's so much more you can do. Benson, you could explain so much better than I can. But again, because Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, you can kind of filter, but not as an investor. And again, this allows you to be so much more effective. And then honestly, even if this only did one thing, this whole tool, oh my gosh, worth its weight in gold. And that button's right here, the comp button. To this day, still by far, and I've used pretty much every comp tool there is, by far my favorite. So a couple things I want to point out. So this is a property that got sent to me because it hit, check the box of one of the filters I've set up. And guys, when I choose a market, I set up the filters for all the counties in that market. So Orlando kind of makes up of, I think it's like 5 different counties. And so I've got filters set up for all 5 counties so that whenever a property meets my criteria in any of these 5 counties, Orlando and the immediate surrounding area, boom, Privy sends me an email. And so from there, I'll take a look and see, okay, is this something I want to call on or not? And if you notice that first one that I looked at, I took a peek and I was like, not something I'm going to call on, not yet. Right. I'm going to look through what other goodies Privy sent me for today. If I had absolutely nothing else to call on, yeah, make the call. Right. But what I want to do is I want to be effective with my time. So when I look at this, there's a couple things. The number one thing we're looking for is indicators of motivation. So 375, price point, I really don't care that much about. It's a 3.2, looks decent on the outside, listed for 0 days, right? This thing just got listed. So let's go down here. I take a quick peek at the description, right? And I'm looking for any type of language that's inviting me, an investor, to come make an offer on the property, right? Or is it language that sounds like, hey, no, we're looking for somebody that's going to live in this home, right? And, beautiful home. It's been a very successful Airbnb, but not really what I'm looking for. Not something that really kind of attracts a cash buyer, a cash investor. Now it does say investment property, but again, still on the fence. The other thing though, is it only has one picture of the outside, right? See, I'm kind of convincing myself maybe I would take a second look. Again, this is something that it's not that I wouldn't call on it. It just might not be my number one choice. Let's go to comps real quick. I go to comps. The way I like to do things is, Benson, help me out. Where's, there used to be a settings button.
Well, you're not logged in. So right now you're viewing it like somebody who got shared an account. So,
All right, hold on. I gotta log into the email on this account. So let me add an account over here. And another thing I did, guys, was when I created my Privy account, I created like a brand new email specifically for that account. And like the reason I did that is for when I set up these filters. Do you notice how this is really easy, right? I don't have like all the other, junk emails of, hey, get my free course, or like, hey, get my free book shipped to you, or like, hey, right. None of that. It's just Privy deals, strictly business. All right. That's how we like it.
That's a
So
pretty smart idea. Again, that's all about efficiency, right? Like you're getting rid of the noise.
exactly. And guys, focus is so important, especially with real estate and wholesaling. It's so easy to be distracted. And guys, making calls, especially when we're just getting started. I know we get nervous, right? We're like, oh, like I'm scared to make the call. Like I'm new at it. What if I screw up? And then if you see an email that catches your attention the slightest bit, what do we say? We're like, oh, well, maybe I should check that out. Maybe like it'll be a really valuable piece of information that'll make this call less scary. All right. When it's like, no, we need to make the call. We need to stay focused. So we want to get rid of all those distractions and have just a Privy email. All right. I'm just typing in the password. Okay. All right. I'm logging in here. Continue. And then I think we should be good to go.
Yeah, I think you can just refresh that screen and it should show it like you're a Privy user. And actually, that's worth mentioning too for anybody who's here. Like, if you share one of these reports, it's called a comparative market analysis, with somebody else who's not a Privy user, they can still view it. They just don't have all of the functionality that a user would have. You don't have the ability to edit. You don't have the ability to, redraw the comp zone or adjust the square foot tolerance or anything like that. You're basically just viewing what the person or the system sent you to view. So that's why you had to log in.
I got so many logins and so many different emails. Gotta love when this happens. Speaking of distractions.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. Are we good now? Did I do it?
Is this Murphy's Law?
Oh my gosh. This is not helping me out. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the address that we're going to, this is not efficient, but that's all right. It's going to get the job done. Okay. All right. So let's go to comps. There we go. Okay. So this is the property we were looking at before. Right. 375. They're kind of teasing like, might be for an investor. But let's go to comps. Comps. First thing I do is I always, the way I do things, I just go to settings and I click select all. And I'll do single family. I don't care really about attached, condo, or multifamily unless it is one of those things.
Let me ask you why you select all, because the purpose of the comparative market analysis that we built was to streamline the comping process by putting in like standard filters that you would use anyway when you're looking for comparables, right? Trying to keep really like staying in your lane kind of comparables. And you click all, that basically removes the algorithm. What's your mentality around that?
Yeah. Good question. So, and I think that's good, especially for people getting started, because it puts the training wheels on for them to where, to help guide them. As what I've found is in my experience, as I've learned a lot more and done a lot more deals, I want to see the outskirts. I want to see the things that don't necessarily meet, the exact criteria or parameters. Because what I've found is with comping, in my experience, it is an art. It is not a science. There are some elements of science to it, right? Beds, baths, square footage, things like that. But ultimately, I personally believe it's an art. And the reason why I say that is when I look at comps, I'm trying to build a story, right? Think of it as like you're a lawyer. You're trying to build a case around why I think this property will sell for this price after being fixed up. Now, I can't say that 100% certain, that is fact, that if you buy this property and if you do this, that will happen. No, but I can say, hey, because of X, Y, and Z, it is very likely, or it is very reasonable that you should expect to be able to sell it for at least this price. And what I've found is being able to see properties that are not considered comparables help me build that case and understand that story. So for example, this house listed for 375, right? Just right off the bat, when I look, there's one property here for 500, and this is probably a lot, or no, I'm sorry, not a lot. This house is for 97. So right off the bat, this is helping me by, I'm seeing where's the ceiling of this neighborhood, right? Right off the bat, I know there is not a single property in this neighborhood that is sold for more than $500,000. So that helps me understand kind of where the ceiling is at, right? And then also, where's the floor? Okay. And then we've got this thing that sold for $97,000. Okay. Now, is this a comparable property? No, not even close. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath. It's 631 square feet, right? Ours is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet. Also, such a small thing, but I absolutely love that this is visible when you scroll down. Just like makes life so much better. So thank you. But I know where the floor is. Right. So, and again, I'm always trying to build the case of when I get on the phone with that buyer, what's the argument that he's going to bring to me? What are the things that he's going to point out? Right. And because we know they're going to, they're like, oh, well, what makes you think it's going to sell for that price? Oh, that's a ridiculous price. This home sold for, $315 or whatever. It's like, yeah, it did. But that had X, Y, and Z. And did you see the one that sold for 500 and it wasn't even a comp? It had half the square footage and, whatever else. So what I've found is being able to see everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. And also with how experienced I've become, I've been able to kind of sort through all of it very quick, to whereas someone that might be newer, again, it'll be better for you to have the training wheels on, better to have those parameters and probably not do select all. But for me personally, yeah, that's why I do it. So we'll kind of, I'll go through this with you guys. So this property is listed for 375, right? And so right off the bat, select all. When I look at everything in here, I'm like, okay, doesn't look like this is remotely close to a deal. Probably overpriced, right? This sold for $349 in February. This one sold for $500. Now, sometimes I know there can be sometimes there might be a delay on information, especially when like Orlando's over here, right? This is kind of like in the middle of nowhere. Guys, in some of the stuff in like that's in the middle of nowhere or the outskirts, that's when sometimes, and well, Benson, you could actually answer this better than I could. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a little bit delayed or whatever the case may be. Is that correct? You're on mute, buddy.
This one here is approaching where it's actually starting to leave potentially stellar MLS because it's getting close to Ocala, and that's a different MLS area. But you're still close enough to where you've got some MLS data. Wherever you see the little blue lines, see those two comps that have the blue lines on them.
Yeah,
those both came from stellar. The orange one, the orange ones are from a different MLS. So there's another MLS that's showing data in this particular area, and since you're on the kind of the fringe, you're gonna get a mixture of both MLS data, third party data as well. So that's kind of the nature of that market, right? There's overlap.
Got it. And yeah, that's one important thing, guys. This is the reason why sometimes that might is this is direct MLS data. It's not anything else. It's direct MLS data. All right. So going back to what we're looking at here. So we've got this property that sold for $315, right? It's a 1,200 square feet. Let's look at actives real quick because I just want to get a feel, right? So, okay, we'll talk about the ceiling, right? So there are some properties listed as high as 1.1, 1.6 million, right? But these obviously nothing like our property. Now, when I look at everything else, ours is the highest priced, right? Now, for MLS properties, for me personally, the biggest deterrent for me is one, if the price point, it's this combination. Price is the last thing I look at. But when I see something's been listed for 0 days or 1 day, right? Meaning it was just listed today, or it's been listed for 1 day or 2 days. And if the price at a quick glance seems high compared to everything else, I'm going to move on. Right. And especially like everything else I mentioned, right? The house doesn't look bad, right? It's not like they're screaming for cash offers only. They said it was a very successful Airbnb. So like, if we think about it, well, a successful Airbnb, you know, it's got to be a nice property, right? For a vacation rental. So it's probably in really good shape. So not something I would want to call on, or not immediately. I'm going to see what other goodies did Privy send me. So let's go back here. Let's go back to the email. What was the other one we were looking at? There was it this one? All right, here we go. Oh, and the one last thing about this property, the other thing, right? So Orlando was my market, right? So if we look Florida, zooming in, we've got Orlando right here. And this listing is all the way out here. So again, it's not just one thing or one specific criteria. It's all of it combined, right? And it's in an area that's a bit more rural. It's not going to be as active as like the heart of Orlando. You know, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to sell, most likely. All of that stuff combined leads me to, okay, I'm going to move on, see what else I can find. All right. And sure enough, the very next one, boom. I like this a lot better already. So listed for 0 days. It's 2 bed, 2 bath. Let's look at comps. It's listed for 220. Let's go to comps. That's right, because I'm not logged in. I got to take this address and then go here. Okay. Now, another kind of pro tip, when you guys are looking at a property, if they've only got 1 or 2 pictures like this one, and if they seem like really crappy pictures like this one, that is a big indicator of motivation. So, and a couple of reasons. One, either they can't get on the inside because of the tenants or whoever's inside the property, or 2, they don't want to be showing pictures of the inside because they know it's in bad shape. Right. So there's that. And then boom, right off, cash only, handyman special. Right. So when you see those words, guys, this is an invitation saying, hey, cash investors, wholesalers, please call me. All right. You should not be scared to call these people. They literally are making the message just for you. So just based on that, I'm going to call. Right. I don't care that's been listed for 0 days. I haven't even looked at comps. This might be a high price. I don't care. But pictures, right, are kind of giving me an indicator that it's probably not in the best of shape. But most importantly, the words they're literally using is screaming for me to please call them. So, and what I'll do though is I'll still take a real quick peek at comps. So settings, all, save. Right. And I like to get in real close. Right. So what's going on in this specific neighborhood? So we got this nice 3-2-16, just under 1,700 square feet. But this is not even remotely close to our house. Right. So I wouldn't use it as a comp. But again, gives you an idea of, hey, what are things selling for in this neighborhood? Right. So this home, it's bigger than ours. Yep. New construction, so that's what stuff's going for there. So let's look at, what about something like this? 3-2, 1,200 square feet. This is a bit more similar, right? On par with what we've got going on. No pictures of the interior. That sold for $281 in October last year. And we got this at 240, right? So 220, I'm definitely gonna want to be below that. But let's give a call. So what I like to do is I go up here, and so right here it says who the listing agent is. So I copy this whole thing, and I do Control C to copy. Then I'll go to a new Google tab, and I'll just paste. And then we're going to open this one up. Boom. Mobile number right there. That's what we're looking for.
Cheryl.
Right. Cheryl. Let's give Cheryl a call.
She's going to love you, Nathan.
She is. I've got a feeling. All right. 321-271-5112. Oh, it's 5:30. Right as she's sitting down for dinner. Perfect. She's going to love this.
Hi, this is Cheryl Stockstill.
Cheryl. Straight to voicemail. I don't think so.
Oh.
That's why we call twice.
This is Cheryl. How can I help you?
Hey, Cheryl, this is Nathan.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I was calling about a listing of yours here, the one on Starfire.
Yes. Hold on one second. I'm just in the car. Are you? Have I spoken to you before, or is this the first time?
No, this is our first time.
Okay, perfect. I've gotten a lot of calls, so I'm sorry if trying to make sure I have
Yeah.
it straight.
No problem. I'm sure your phone's probably been blowing up about it.
Yes. So, are you a realtor or investor? Or?
I'm an investor. Yeah, I was calling. I'm interested in it, obviously. I was wondering if you could tell me just a little bit about it and anything in particular that you think might be important for someone like me to know.
Sure. And I can also text you pictures of the interior. The owner just didn't want to. He just didn't want everything up on the, because it's a little messy, you know.
Sure, totally understand.
So I walked through with a contractor that's not like, he's just kind of a local guy, so to kind of help me understand what was going on with the property. So if we start with the outside, it's in good condition. There's a big oak tree that definitely needs to be cleaned up. There's a little bit of wood rot on the front porch wood, but doesn't look like anything, you know, that can't be fixed. The garage they shortened, so it's could probably fit like a little Civic or something.
Okay.
But not a full size car. And what they did was they shortened the garage and they created a laundry room that's undercover and with the water heater.
Okay.
And the plumbing needs to be redone. It just backs up from if you run the washer. So that would be my guess. The plumbing probably needs to be redone.
Okay.
The electrical panels it looks like the original possibly.
Okay, so that needs to get updated.
I think so, yeah, for sure. The roof is 10 years old. He had an inspection for something else after storms, and apparently he feels like there's still life left on the roof, but it is about 10 years old. Okay,
what are your thoughts? Do you feel like it's something that should probably get replaced?
I mean, it looks like I own a home downtown that's old, and it doesn't look that raggedy, but I didn't get up on the roof.
Okay.
So I guess it's hit or miss.
Okay.
You know, so maybe you want to look at it yourself. I mean, my roof downtown lasted for like almost 20 years.
Oh, nice.
Roof. Yeah, so that's questionable. How about that?
Sure.
All
Yeah, no problem.
All the windows need to be replaced in the house.
Okay.
They're just not latching anymore. The AC unit doesn't work at all.
Okay.
The kitchen needs to be completely gutted. The appliances look like they're from the 70s.
Okay.
And I'll send you pictures. So I would do redo the whole kitchen, all the flooring. There's 2 bedrooms with carpet, just, probably easy pull up, paint. There's a bathroom that's completed, but it doesn't have a door. He just has a curtain into the hallway.
Okay.
So you might want to put a door on that.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, the curtain might be in nowadays. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. And then in the bedroom, I guess it's the master, but I'm sorry, it's not a master. In the bedroom, they took half of the closet and created a bathroom. because there was plenty of space. So the bathroom's about 75% completed. The tile, nothing's been put up, but all the plumbing and everything's there.
Okay.
And I'll send you a picture.
Okay, yeah, that'll be super helpful. Are those the one with the curtain and then the 75%? Is that the 2 bathrooms, or are those?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
That's the 2. And then there's a large master that's 20 by, I think it's almost 20 by 10 or 20 by 9. And that used to be 2 bedrooms, but it looks like at some point somebody combined it and made a huge master. So you could almost have like a king size. You could have a king size bed and like a little office area too.
Okay.
You could split it, but then the rooms would be pretty small.
Okay.
But you can, and then the neighbors have a lot of input. So they showed me their houses, how they enclose the garages.
Oh,
and
nice.
There's 4 bedrooms. So there's, that's allowed. And then they put these canopy carports. The backyard just needs landscaping. There's like an old swing set and just bushes and plants, and it just needs to be really cleaned up. And then there's a broken fence. I'm assuming we don't know if it's the neighbors or who it is.
Who, you don't know who the fence belongs to?
The fence belongs to, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no problem there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would mind if it got cleaned up. So
yeah, right.
The neighbors are all really nice. It's a good location. Okay. It's one of those little older neighborhoods that you drive in and you're like, wow, like people really take pride in their property.
Yeah.
So
now,
that's nice.
With now I know you said you had a contractor look at it. Did for everything that was kind of mentioned, were you able to get any kind of ballpark estimate?
Yeah, he thought about $35,000.
Okay, about 35.
And that was not including a roof. So
okay.
Because he thought the roof was okay too. But that's all depends on, I guess, insurance and different things.
Sure. Got it. Okay, so we're looking at
Hopefully
ballpark.
That was helpful.
Yeah, no, that was very helpful. Thank you so much. No, that was incredibly informative. Most people I chat with, they're like, it needs work. come look at it.
Work, but
no problem
to,
there.
Kind of put myself in it because I know the calls I would be taking would, you guys are going to want information. So, and it cuts down on.
No, super helpful.
Yeah, I can text you some pictures as soon as I get home of the interior.
Now, my guess is, I mean, I know you just listed it today, but I mean, yeah, I'm sure your phone's been melting all day today about it. I guess what's kind of held you guys back from moving forward with? I mean, I'm sure there's 20 other people that have already beaten me to giving you guys an offer.
It was a little overwhelming for the seller today. So I'm trying to just, talk like it's okay. Like, I'm going to help you get through this. We have a lot of offers to go through, but we're going to pick the best one. He's not set in stone on price. He's, ready to move the property. Mm-hmm. But what I'm looking for him is a solid contract that we're not going to run into any hiccups in a week or two with,
right.
We want to renegotiate the price, or, sometimes people do those. So
totally understand.
I want somebody to get in there and look and understand what their responsibility is going to be and say, I'm confident giving you cash and
mm-hmm.
as is, because I know it's going to cost me X amount of dollars to fix it. And so that's.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. You don't want to get, with those like wholesalers nowadays to where they just get properties under contract and then waste 7, 10, 14 days or whatever they get the inspection period at. Yeah, no, if it is something that I'm able to, I mean, obviously I there's a lot of things I got to look at. I don't know where my numbers would be at just yet, but if it is something that we're able to make an offer on, it'd be something where we would do 0 days due diligence, a non-refundable earnest money deposit, which sounds like that'd be great.
To do diligence, like we want you to inspect the property. I want to be able to sleep at night. Yeah.
Well, what we would do is I'd probably have someone go take a look at it, and just doing a walkthrough is good enough for us. And so that way, when we would make our offer, you would know, hey, it's, a done deal kind of thing. If obviously, I'm able to get to a price that's able to be a good fit for your seller. I know you said overwhelming, and he was kind of waiting, and obviously he's looking to get highest and best. Did you guys have an idea as to when you were hoping to make a decision on something?
I mean, he's ready to go, but the offers that we have come in, I don't like those. Oh shoot, what did you call them? The wholesalers.
Yeah, with the 10-day inspection periods.
Those are always the first ones that come in because they're like, we don't need to see it, but they have all these their own contingencies. Right. And I just told him, I said, just give me a day because the local investors are going to come out, and that's kind of who we want to attract. Is someone that's going to buy it and do their own work and flip it, or whatever. We're not opposed to wholesalers, but
yeah, no, that's great to hear. Because I have done that before. That's actually what I do with a good majority, but I do it very differently. I mean, as you can see, I'm not a proponent of let's be misleading and waste people's times, and I'm not a fan of that at all.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Now for this property, I know you'll send me some pictures of it. Yes. But from the area, the neighborhood better than me, what do you feel like is the best fit for this house? Do you feel like it's a good fit to fix it up and relist it, or do you rent it? You feel rental is a good?
My husband came with me because we've been on property forever, and I said, well, we consider buying it ourselves, but we're using our money for something else right now. And I said, but there's not that much wiggle room to flip, once you get done, because the market's a little, unpredictable still.
Sure, yeah.
But it is a first-time home, good starter home. We would have fixed it up and just rented it out to a nice family. So people like the schools. If you just go down the street, there's a golf club. There's a main intersection 4-way with all the local businesses and Publix and stuff, and then. Out the neighborhood to the right, there's a huge development of homes that were probably built in the 2000s.
Okay.
Like 2-story, $500,000 homes. And then there's just this cute little pocket of homes. And definitely, I was surprised myself, to be honest. I know the neighborhood, but I'd never been into that neighborhood until this week. And I was like, oh, wow, people actually care for their homes, and, they're not parking all over the grass, and it looks...
Yeah,
it looks like a good rental community.
Okay.
A couple of the neighbors approached because they were interested in making offers too, because they own some of the houses in there and rent them out.
Oh, nice. And were they just not able to get to a price that's able to be a good fit for you guys?
Yeah, 120 was too low.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 120. That is a little low. Was it? And that was for the person that lives there.
Well, they tried to go direct, and that's why he ended up hiring me, because he had told people he wanted to sell, and then he got bombarded. Got it. No, that makes sense. And it became overwhelming because everybody had his phone number. When you're an older person and you have no equity, or not all the equity, no loan, people find you. Yeah. So, and I'm a family friend of his sister.
Oh, nice.
So I said, I'll look after him and make sure at least we pick the best offer. And
that's good.
Yeah.
Now for a rental, do you have an idea as to what you think it might rent for once it's fixed up?
I do, but I'd have to ask my partner, because she did the rental comps on it.
Oh, okay. Do you just have like a ballpark idea?
I don't have it right now, but I remember her saying, oh, the rents were pretty strong over there.
Okay.
But I can look it up on the MLS.
Yeah, no worry. I mean, no rush.
I would think a 2-bedroom is, got to be at least $1,500 minimum. I haven't seen anything that cheap. $1,600 for a house. And
now, obviously, price is most important. Obviously, getting him the highest price possible. Other than price, though, is there anything other than just the number that would be important to him, or
wrapping it up quickly?
Yeah. What kind of timeline does he want to work on?
He said he's ready to get out of there. So.
Okay.
I don't know if that means. He can be out in 2 weeks. He can be out in 3 days. He told me.
Okay. So if
so he's almost moved out.
Okay, got it. would it be of any help or of any value to him if I know sometimes what we've done a lot is, especially if it's like a house that needs work and, you know, there's a bunch of stuff there, anything that like he doesn't want to bring with him or sell, or, you know, even if it's just junk, he can just leave it there. He doesn't even have to worry about it. It sounds like he's already moving. I was going to offer if helping him move would be of something of value to him.
He doesn't have much left, but I definitely can throw that by him. I mean, it's always helpful just to leave your junk there.
Yeah. No, he would.
That's even help. That would even be helpful for me if I moved.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, and even if it's like big furniture and stuff, like seriously, he doesn't have to worry about it.
There's really not much in there. It's pretty much cleaned out. I'll send you pictures and you'll see. There's just a couple of recliners and a TV.
Okay. So timeline's important to him, and then obviously, we want to be able to, price. Now price. Now my number one thing is, like I said, I haven't been able to kind of look at pictures and kind of crunch numbers on my end. But my number one goal is I never want to ever make an offer that would insult you or the seller. That's never my goal. So if there's a price, if I'm not able to get to it, hey, totally understand. You know, I'm not always able to. But I'm not one of those people that's just gonna, make you an offer at 120, and say, take it or leave it. That's right. Not me. I'm not one of those guys. I know you do have it listed for 220. You'd mentioned he's got some flexibility there. Again, I haven't crunched my numbers. I don't know exactly where I'd be. At a quick glance, I know I probably wouldn't be able to get up to list price. I guess my question is, realistically, where would I need to be at in order to be competitive for the seller?
Yeah, I mean, just make your best offer. And then we'll look at everything.
Okay.
Let me send you pictures and stuff. That way you can kind of see what you're in for.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be really helpful. Because the rents, and then just getting a better understanding of how much work it needs will be helpful. Okay. And then obviously having kind of one or two people take a look at it. If I guess one thing is when I do take a look at it, if I'm far off, like I'm just using hypotheticals. If I take a look and if I think, oh man, this is a bit more for me than I thought it might be, and if I'm thinking my offer's, way below 220, do you want me to still just call you and just let you know, or would you rather me just not bother, kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, you can let me know, and I can see where we're at with other offers too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can present everything because it's not always the highest number. Sometimes it's the whole package and the person, and if they can perform, and if it's marked as is, or is it marked we're going to come back for repairs in 2 weeks.
Right. Okay, got it. What I'll do is, if you don't mind, text me some of the pictures. I'll take a look at it. And then what are the chances of being able to have someone take a look inside?
Let me get with the owner tomorrow and then see. I'll show it. But we were talking about Friday because he's out of town and he didn't leave me a key.
Okay.
But he'll be back on Friday. But let me confirm that tomorrow.
Okay, got it. And I'll
send you pictures.
Okay, perfect. And for the walkthrough, I've got a few relationships specifically that I've got in mind that I think might also be interested. What I'll do is I'll reach out and see if it's something I think they might be interested in. If so, I'll just have them come for the walkthrough at the same time. Because sometimes they're able to pay more than me for whatever, they're either already got a project in that neighborhood or they can just do that project cheaper than me. So sometimes they're able to pay more than me. If they're able to make it work, great. We can just move forward with the offer and then I can just assign it to them at the end. But again, everything would be 0 days due diligence and, nothing you guys would have to worry about.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'll send you pictures in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks. Thanks so much, Cheryl. Really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Boom, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, sorry guys, I was kind of out because of the baby. But hey, great call. Great call. Look, there's a lot of takeaways. That's a lot of takeaways. Benson, you got anything you want to say? I got a couple things.
I've got like 20 things for you guys.
Yeah. Well, I would say that first off, like Valle's demeanor got her to open up really quickly. Like she was right into like, here's everything that's wrong with this place. I don't know what he could have said that would have turned her off right away. Maybe he would have said like, I've got this sweet goatee, you should see it. But he did, and that was a good move. But she just went right into like, here's all the stuff that's wrong with it. So
well, I can tell you one way that I see a lot of people to where, man, like how does somebody, you know, when chatting with a great agent like that, how does somebody get off on the wrong foot? And I see it time and time again. And they call and they say, hey, Cheryl, I was calling about the house in Starfire Lane. She's like, yeah, I've been getting a bunch of calls. And they say, great. What's the lowest the seller will take? Yeah. See it all the time. And people tell me, man, I'm making 50 offers a week. Why aren't I getting deals? Guys, this stuff makes a difference. Now, the other thing is you might say, well, Nate, you didn't get a deal under contract. Like you didn't. And guys, but I'm going to break down, like, here's all the things, all the gems in that conversation. So number one, it's listed for 220, right? So she, again, you know, like you pointed out, Benson, she just spills the beans, right? And guys, so many agents do this. One of the most valuable tools you can have in your negotiating tool belt is silence. Shut up and let them talk, right? Just let them talk. Let them tell you as much as did you notice? She brought up that somebody made an offer at 120 because I just let her keep talking, and she eventually led herself to it. Right. And she's one of the better agents to where she's a little bit tricky when it comes to numbers. Right. I couldn't push her too hard on that, or else, you know, there would start to be some resistance. But luckily, she gave that up right off the bat. She was like, yeah, they gave an offer at 120. So that lets me know, okay, that's an offer that he won't accept, but I know where the other offers are at, or at least the really low ones. And she starts talking about wholesalers, right? And guys, did you see the irony? I do this every single time, and I love doing it. To where, yes, I say, oh yeah, looks like those wholesalers with their inspection period. And she's like, oh yeah, and then what did I do at the end? I literally told her that I would probably be assigning this and wholesaling the property. But guys, it's not that you can't wholesale. It's the way people go about it that makes it difficult and unethical, in my opinion. But so a couple of great things, right? The seller price is obviously important, but she said it.
Let me say it. Let me go. So this is how you guys can get this deal done, right? They want certainty. That's what they want. They don't want. I'm sure they got a bunch of offers that look great that are over 220. But they're all going to have 7 days, 14 days due diligence. They know what it's going to smell like a wholesaler, right? They don't want that uncertainty. They're okay with the lower price if they feel like they got someone that's actually going to close. That's what sellers want. And they'll take less if for that. So what you would do, well, Nate can explain what you would do, but really they want certainty. And that's mostly everybody. Anyway.
Yeah, right. And so guys, that's why, just like guys, it's the same concept as if I'm talking directly to a seller. If I'm talking to a seller, I want to know what's their motivation. Why are they selling? Hey, what's, valuable to them other than price? You can do the same thing with a real estate agent. And right. And she told me oh yeah, timeline is so important. She said he could move out in 3 days. He said, if I were to make an offer, right, and certainty, right? So she had mentioned certainty. We don't want to deal with these wholesalers or these long inspection periods or these ridiculous offers. Guys, this is how you can be 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 less than your competition. But if your offer is 0 days due diligence, and if your offer is close in 7 days, and it has a non-refundable earnest money deposit of $10,000, who do you think is going to get the deal? Right? You can get those all day long. Now you might be saying, well, Nate, cool for you, bro, but I don't have 10K to put down and do 0 days due diligence. Guys, we don't do that either, right? We use our buyers. And this is where step 2, right? So I've got an opportunity, right? So now I need somebody to look at this thing and let me know, hey, what price you need to be at. And guys, the funny thing is I probably need to be at that 150-ish price point. Like, just being real. I probably need to be like between 150 and 200 would be my guess. Right. So we're glad there's an offer at 120. But here's the thing. And here's what I love doing too. Did you notice at the end, there's something very specific I say, hey, Ms. Agent, I don't know where I'm able to be just yet. But if I'm not able to get close to the 220, if I'm like really far below that, do you want me to still call you back and just let you know? Or should I not even bother? And what do they always say? Right. Oh, yeah, no. Call me back. Two things. One, okay, there's some room on that price. But two, and most importantly, you just got permission to give that really low offer. So I can call back and I can make that offer at 120, same as the other person. The difference is I have permission to do it. And so it's going to be received that much better. And I didn't even mention like, oh, I'm calling unrepresented, and you could say, normally I mention that too. And I didn't on this call, but now when I call back and if my offer is at 120, 130 or whatever, it's that much because she can't get upset with me. She gave me permit. She told me to call her back and let her know no matter what. So, and who's going to be the person she wants to work with? Me, even if my offer's low, or the guy that just calls and says, well, what's the lowest the seller will take?
Yeah, not only that, but she said that working with the person is important. So timeline, price, and working with the person. So Nate, I know we got
too. That was key.
And I'll just point out real quick, what would I do next? Because I know we're kind of out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time.
Next, what I would do is I would go to comps. And guys, I'm gonna give you the real secret sauce, right? This is another thing, Benson, I love about Privy here. Guys, the really quick hack, right? So this filter, it's naturally on half-mile radius. Typically, I'm pretty sure that's what it's on right now.
Yep.
But when you go to solds, what I do is I scroll through here and I just look real quick. Oh, which one has the little arrow? What this is showing, and Benson, maybe you know the answer. I don't know. But it means within a certain time period, somebody bought this home at this price and they sold it for this price. And if those numbers look pretty big to me, right? Somebody bought it for $285 and they sold it for $393. And Betsy, isn't it like within like 12 or 18 months or something like that?
18 months. Yeah. We give it a little bit extra time for flip and delays. Yeah.
Right. So within 18 months, right now I have to click on it to know a little bit more. They might have done this in 60 days. Right. But what I know is someone bought this for $285 and they sold it for $393. This is probably an investor. So in 5 seconds, I found, this is a local fix and flipper. So I'm going to now look at this property, right? So I clicked on it. It's this one up here, right? Look at the pictures. Boom. That's perfect. Let's go to public records, property history, seller, Woodbridge Opportunity Fund. Now that might be difficult to find. So what's the easy hack? I'm going to call Matthew, the listing agent. Hey, Matt, I saw the house you sold on De La Quay, right? Hey, was that an investor? It looks like a flip. Yeah, it was. Awesome, man. That flip came out really nice. They did a really good job. He's like, yeah, they did. What can I do for you? And I'm going to say, hey, well, I've got a property that I'm negotiating right around the corner. Would your investor be interested in another one? And he's going to be like, yeah. Or he might say no. But you know what? You found an agent that works with investors. And I can say, oh, well, do you have any other investors that would be interested? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes. And guys, boom, that's when, and then the conversation leads to, hey, yeah, have them take a look at it. What price do you think you'd be able to pay? And then I'm going to let them tell me where they need to be at and then do a little back and forth. And that's how we make money.
That's it. And we all know Nate, he could go on for hours explaining every step because he knows how to do the whole dang thing.
Love it.
That's why we do these calls, guys, because we're showing you guys exactly. Guys, make calls, take action. We're here to help you out. That's why you come on these calls. But we're heading out because we did what we promised. We have made some calls. So,
Nate, and last thing I want to mention, this exact property that was a fix and flip, and also it's got the before and after button. I absolutely love that tool. Guys, they bought this for $285. Now, this might be a little bit of a different neighborhood, comps or whatnot, but I know what price they paid, right? And what they flipped it for gives me a really good indicator of, hey, what do I think they might be able to pay on this one?
That's right.
So, again, guys, this was 59 minutes, right? With 15 minutes of just horsing around in the beginning, right? In 40 minutes, If you could do this in 40 minutes, would this be the closest you get to doing a deal probably in the last month, 6 months, year, whatever? Guys, you don't need to spend a million hours cold calling or driving for dollars or doing whatever. Guys, when you've got the right strategy, the right tools, and you can be efficient and effective, it's crazy what you can do in a very little amount of time. That's all I got.
It. Efficiency, baby. It's productivity, efficiency. Let's do it. Benson, you got anything to tell us before we sign off?
No, that was great, man. I loved watching Valle in operation mode, man. Just working it, just patient and just, oh, it was good. I loved it, man. That's how you do it, you guys.
And guys, don't get intimidated. If you can't do what Nathan just did, if you can't do what me and Benson are able to do, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do everything by yourself. There's ways that you can work and collaborate with others. Check out painlessflipping.com and how we help people that maybe aren't there yet do deals. All right. Peace out, everybody.
Later, guys.
Bye, everyone. Have a great week.
Benson.